Hello and welcome to this new episode of Open Book Entrepreneur. Today we have Maggie all the way from US with us, and she's really focused on number of different things, but helping entrepreneurial ladies get more leads and also grow their business. So Maggie, please introduce yourself to our audience.
Yeah, thank you so much, Tony, for having me here. It's so great to be on your podcast. I was so excited to be able to come on here. So my name is Maggie. I own Chaos to Clarity coaching, and what I really focus on there is helping women generate more leads and sales in less time with less overwhelm, right? We look at strategy, we also look at mindset. And we really kind of combine a bunch of different things so that you can really amplify what you're doing without having to work 24/7 in your business.
Wonderful. And how do you usually do that? Like, what are some of the great results that your clients are getting?
So, some of the results that my clients are seeing are more leads in less time. Just before we hit record, we were talking a little bit about my 20 leads in 2 weeks email course that kind of created itself, really. It was a challenge that I gave to my a small group of women that I was working with because they were all saying, I have no leads. So, we took 2 weeks and I challenged them to say, okay, we're going to go through all of your network. We're going to see who's there, who's not, and let's look at your lead pool and let's understand who's there. And in that 2 weeks, all of those women saw more than 20 leads. And I'm talking warm and hot leads, not cool. Hey, we connected in a Facebook group, now we're friends. I'm talking like these women had people in their inbox, in their messenger saying, I want to schedule a sales call with you. I'm ready to work with you. A number of people in that challenge booked clients. So it's really about kind of seeing who is in your network, and then how can your offer help them. So it's really kind of reigniting your spark for your offer and then just sharing it out to the world in a way that feels really good for you.
Totally. And what are so? How are you actually? How you started this business?
So I started this business in late 2020. So I have owned businesses since 2007. In 2007, I opened my photography business, and I just graduated college, and I told my mom, I was like, I'm going to be a photographer. And I sat out and I did that. I also worked in corporate during that time for a number of years as the staff photographer, videographer. I worked in the training department. And then in 2013, I had enough of corporate and I left to pursue photography full time. And in that time, I had started taking yoga classes. And I really fell in love with yoga. I really fell in love with the mindset portion of yoga. And that is something that I bring into my coaching and mentoring today. So I wound up buying the yoga studio that I trained at, and then I created a yoga teacher training course. And then in 2020, just with all the pandemic and all the craziness of that, all the unknown of that, really gave me a chance to pause and reflect on, like, okay, this is where I'm at in life. We wanted more children. We had one child at the time. We wanted another one. And I really wanted to be able to be present for my family, my kids. But I knew I, wanted to also have a business still. And I still have a photography business. I still teach a couple yoga classes, but I definitely wanted to be able to help people, help women, just manage it all. So I combined everything that I've learned. And that's kind of where we're at today. I've been going strong since really the beginning of 2021.
Great. And what's one piece of advice you can give to someone watching us or listening to us who is feeling a little bit stuck in terms of their lead generation?
Yeah, so if you're feeling stuck in terms of lead generation, number one, I tell all of my clients, look at who is commenting on your posts. Look at who is already in your DMs. Like, who have you been talking to? How does your offer help them? Have you asked them if they need your help or if they know anyone who could use your services, right? Sometimes it just takes us asking others hey, do you know anyone who needs help? Chances are they probably know, or they probably need your help. So that's a great way to kind of stir up some leads, but also to do market research calls because that can kind of be um, really a great way for you to kind of figure out, like, okay, here's the problem that people are having. Here's what I solve. Like, how do I bridge that gap? And that, you can really kind of step into that empowerment side of yourself. And I would also suggest, so I talk a lot to my clients about three different mindsets: the CEO mindset, the employee mindset, and the goddess mindset. So the CEO mindset is working on your business, taking the time to not just be in front of your computer, hammering away at social media or creating an offer or things like that. It's really taking that step back to go, okay, I'm driving this bus and where do I want to go? What do I want to do this month, next month? You can plan out as long as you want, but really taking that time to find that big picture, that goal, whether it's financial or, whatever it is. A lot of people will choose financial goals, but you don't have to, but know that if you're in business, the goal is to make money at the end of the day. Uh, and then the employee mindset is working in your business, right? Like having those conversations. Like a lot of people, they aren't having conversations about their offer. They're scared to have the conversations in the DMs. And that's a lot of what I help my clients with is learning to overcome that fear, to know that you can DM someone who's following you and say, "Hey, I'm so glad you're here. I would love to know what's a post of mine that you saw recently that really sparked something for you." So having those kind of conversations can really help stir up people and leads that you didn't even realize were there. And then the last portion of that, the goddess mindset, that's taking rest and taking care of you, right? Doing those things, reading a book, taking a nap, taking a shower, right? Like those self-care things that, it doesn't always have to look like a manicure and pedicure and a spa day. It can be 5 minutes of meditation in the morning while your coffee is brewing, right? It can be those little tiny moments throughout the day. So I really teach a lot of that alongside the strategy, um, you know, in my coaching.
Absolutely. So obviously, yeah, everyone's goal in the business is to make money, and that's very important. Even to be able to run the business, apart from with some charities and stuff. But so apart from that, like, what is your reason why you're doing what you're doing?
So I think one of the biggest reasons why is I just know that I'm not meant for corporate life. Like I worked in corporate for almost 10 years, from college through, about 2013. And I just did not enjoy it. I liked the work that I did. I got to train and I got to teach and I got to take photos and videos. Um, but it was just one of those things that like I felt like I was going nowhere fast and I felt really like boxed in and put in a corner. Like so there was nowhere for me to grow. Um, and, my businesses really gave me that space to grow, and I could see things that, like, oh, if I try these things, this growth could happen. Or, some of the things that I've done for my photo business, even the yoga studio, the places that I've gotten to travel, the countries I've gotten to teach in, both like workshops as well as yoga classes, photography, just there was so much more available that felt so freeing to me. that was one of the reasons why I stepped into coaching was because I want that for others also. And I also know that, you, at least here in the US, you don't, like, if you go to college and you go to business school, they don't teach you how to run a business. They teach you to be an employee in a business, not how to run a business. So, there's just nobody is now there's more people teaching you how to run a business. But, it's one of those things where it's like, oh, I know how to do this. So, of course, yeah, I would love to share my knowledge.
Yeah. I mean, this is 100% true. I finished business information technology bachelor in London, and we were just taught, exactly like, okay, the business principles and things like that, but not how to run it. It was more about like, how to presentation, how to do certain things to actually satisfy the corporate part of the world. Yeah. I mean, that's great. And then on top of that, like, where do you see yourself in your business in like 1 year from now?
In 1 year from now, my goal is to really expand. I'm working on, consistent income months, more consistent, more money, just more space so that, I'd love to bring on a team and have more people, teaching and doing the things that I'm doing, helping others. So there's just a lot of, I feel like I'm in a big growth period right now, a big push to grow my company. I know, I would love to bring my husband on board if he is done with his corporate career, just so space and just having more freedom for us to grow is really where I'm going.
Wonderful. Yeah. Thank you so much, Maggie, for being a guest today. Thank you all for watching and listening to this episode. If you liked it, drop us a like. Also, subscribe and share it with your friends and family. Comment below as well if you have any questions for Maggie or me. And see you all in the next episode. Maggie, thanks and bye bye.
Thank you.